Hello everyone, here's Michael again. We are continuing with our GTK widget grid, and before we proceed I want to tell you that I made some small changes to reduce our code, which means I created a function which creates a child for us. This function takes 3 parameters. The first one 4 parameters, sorry. The first one is the name, which we are setting with GTK widget set. The second one is the border, which we are setting with our GTK container set border width. And of course the last one, the last two ones are the width and height for our GTK widget set side request. So once that we have this function, we can point our childs 1, 2, 3 and 4 to this function, so that we can create them. And of course we were attaching our childs to our grid in the manner how we were learning, 0 0 1 0 0 1 1 1. So basically let's talk again about this. 0 0 means 0 left top left, 0 left top 1, 0 left top 1 left top 0, 0 left top 1, 1 left top 1. Okay, so that being said, you understand the way it is. I will move this function down here because we don't need it there. It was just there to show you that you see how we reduce our code. It's not so big anymore. Okay, so that being said, let's see what we are going to learn today. Today we are going to learn 4 new functions, which are GTK-grid set row homogeneous and column homogeneous. The same thing happens with set row spacing, and of course here is false set column spacing. Okay, what this means I will show you in a moment when we are going to see their documentation. So let's start with the first one, GTK-grid set row homogeneous. I don't know if I pronounce it right. This is the function is here. It says this function returns void, so it does nothing, and takes 2 parameters. The first one is our grid, and the second one is Boolean homogeneous, which means it's true or false, and says sets wherever all rows of grid will have the same weight. So what this means, let me run the program again. As you can see, now here is our grid. When I maximize our program, nothing happens. You see they are here, but what happens if you want them to expand them from here to here, and how will you do that? Now that's the story with the GTK grid set row homogeneous. I hope I spell it right. If not, you will spell it for sure. Okay, so the first one is our grid, GTK container grid. This is and the second one is true or false. I set it to true this time, so I run the program. Let's see what happens. Okay, we have a problem which says d type instance cast. Okay, so it is about casts. Of course it's always about the casts. So let's see where's the problem. GTK container grid, of course, or GTK let's go back to see what happens again. GTK grid and our grid, and GTK grid set row homogeneous set to true. So where's the problem? Let me run again. It says passing one from incompatible pointer, GTK grid and our grid. So what container, of course, sorry guys. Why is there a container? I don't know. Okay, so you see what happens if you use the wrong cast. So as you can see, here's the row spacing which I was talking about. You see now they are expanding to the whole container, and of course you can expand them. You can expand them to from left to right too, by meaning if you are calling the next function, which is GTK grid set column homogeneous, which is somewhere down here. Now when I call this function, just watch, you will see that the whole grid childs are expanding. You see, now the childs are here and they are expanding when I will maximize the window. You see, so basically now we have 4 nice childs which they are the same size and they are shown in the same way once to another. Okay, so that being said, this is about these 2 functions, and these 2 functions is what they are doing. You will see that they are how can I say, there are advantages and disadvantages about using this. Most of places you don't want to do this, but you will see where and how and when you need to set it, and if you really need to set it, because containers, they are just how can I say, they adjust the size the way how you set the widgets, so you will see if you really need to set them or not. Anyway, they are there, you know how to use them, and you know that you can use them. Okay, now let's make some change to our program for a second. I will comment out this part here, which is our border width. We need to comment it out. Okay, I need to cast for a second this parameter. So I run the program now. As you can see, there is nothing here to notice. You just do not know if here there are childs or not. It looks like it is only one container inside another container. So I did this because I want to show you something. There are 2 functions which are GTK-grid set row spacing and GTK-grid set column spacing. What this means? Let's start with the set row spacing. Says it's a function which returns also void and takes 2 parameters. The first one is the GTK-grid and the second one is the spacing. Sets the amount of the space between the row of the grid, and the parameters are the grid and the spacing, the amount of the spacing set between those rows. What this means, let's see. Let's call this function. So I'm going back up here. So the first one, it is our grid, and the second one is the spacing. Let's see. Let's take 5, sorry, 3. I'm telling one and doing something else. And now, as you can see, you see this space here. Well, this space here is set because we choose to set a space, row space. The row space means this is the first row and this is the second row. So as row spacing, this means the space between those two rows. The same thing applies to GTK-grid set column spacing, which it should be here, and so this is the same story. It says whether the column of grid will have the same width or not, and takes 2 parameters. The first one is the grid and the second one is the homogeneous. Sorry guys, I have to take a call. Okay, so the next one is GTK-grid set column spacing. I don't know why I was watching this function here. Anyway, the GTK-grid set column spacing is the same like row spacing. Returns void, takes 2 parameters, set the amount of space between columns of grid. So this is the same like the other one. So let's see. Now we are going to call this function, and we are passing, of course, the GTK-grid again, and we'll set our spacing to 3, the same like in the row spacing. I will run the program now. As you can see, let me maximize. Now we have a very nice spacing between container. So basically we are setting a row spacing between these two rows and these two rows. So this is the row spacing, and we are setting a column spacing, which is the space between these two columns, the column 0 and column 1. Okay, so basically this is the thing which you can do with these two functions. Of course, probably you already noticed the way the program was created, we have no space here anymore between top and left, top and right, top and bottom, right button and left button, or the bottom left. So this space we had it here when we were setting the border with like here. See, if I drop this thing again, now you will see how it looks like. You see, now we have the border, but of course you need to take you need to calculate this border together with the row spacing and column spacing, because you see now, you see here we have 3 pixels, but here we have 3 for our row, another 3 for our border, and another 3 for the next row, and another 3 for our border. So basically we have here 3, and here we have 12 pixels. Okay, so this is why it looks different, but you can set it to look nice all over in this, to be the same. I will show you how in another tutorial when we are going to create some other things. Okay, so that being said, thank you guys for watching, and if you like it, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and until next time, see you guys.